Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week. You guys, Christmas is right around the corner. It is the most wonderful time of the year. So today's video is a case that I have been following since 2016. And it's like everybody was talking about this situation back in 2016 when this and other similar things like this kind of happened. And then it was like everything went silent. It was super strange. Even Dr. Phil had put out like this episode and gave all these teasers, and then they pulled the whole entire episode and did not air it. And it was like, okay, what is going on? And then here recently, maybe a couple years ago, all of the details resurfaced and it all came back out again. So we're going to be talking about the case of Austin Harrouff today. Now, before we get into it though, I do want to let you guys know, if you don't know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. Over there, we do things more casually, more laid back. Not very consistent, but we're there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon is for 18 and up. Over there, we talk about more personal story times. We go live over there. It is a good time if you're 18 and up and you'd like to join. We also have a $2 tier over there where all of the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies, that goes over there. So my Patreon and my second YouTube channel, along with my Snapchat, my Facebook, and my Instagram are all linked down in the description box if you'd like to come and check me out. So Austin was known as the FSU frat boy from Florida back in 2016 when this incident happened. Austin was born on December 21st of 1996 in Jupiter, Florida. He was born to his parents, who are Mina and Dr. Wade Harrouff. Austin had a wonderful childhood. He was described as a shy child. He was put into football in order to kind of get him out of his shell. And that's when he started developing the personality of being like really funny and cracking jokes all the time. His parents did divorce in 2013, but not only did they stay close in order to co-parent Austin and his younger sister, but they also lived very close to each other too, within like a couple of miles. So they could both be very involved in their children's lives. And so even though they split up, they really made it work for the kids. Before we go any further, let me stop and thank today's sponsor, Audible. Audible is an audiobook service that offers many different books that you can listen to from the comfort of your own home or in your headphones. My favorite place, in my car, or when I'm out for a walk or a jog, or even in the gym. I have personally been using Audible for years. I have so many books in my Audible account. I have books ranging from food to homesteading to parenting styles to true crime. I have been able to learn so much from listening to these books. Audible is the home of storytelling with all of your audio entertainment in just one app. Find the best of what you love or something new to discover. And as an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. And members also get full access to a growing selection of included audiobooks, Audible originals, and podcasts. You can even download or stream their included titles all you want. And new members can try Audible for free for 30 days. Dr. Phil McGraw Life Code. For all of y'all that watch Dr. Phil, do y'all remember when he talked about that in every darn episode? Get my book Life Code. Get my book Life Code. Well, he talked about it so doggone much, I had to get it on Audible and listen to the book. Another really great book is Sugar, Salt, Fat. Now that book changed my life and the way that I look at food. Sugar, Salt, Fat is a great book to teach you exactly why we become addicted to these foods. I also have quite a few of the Ed and Lorraine books. And if you don't know who Ed and Lorraine were, they were two demonologists. So they have such a wide range of books. I mean, we all need time off of social media sometimes, and Audible is a great way to do that. So let Audible help you discover new ways to laugh, be inspired, or be entertained. New members can try Audible for free for 30 days. Just visit audible.com/Christina Randall or just text Christina Randall to 500-500. And you can start your free membership today. Thanks again, Audible. Austin also really looked up to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He called him his hero and he wanted to be like him in all of the ways. According to Austin's football recruiting profile, he grew to be 6 foot tall and weighed around 200 pounds. He also said that he could bench press around 365 pounds. On the surface, Austin was a 19-year-old young college student who was an athlete and by all accounts a well-liked young man. Austin looked like any other ordinary college student. Photos posted all over his social media showing him surrounded by family and friends, smiling, loved, and happy. He graduated from the Suncoast High School and took his senior picture with a big bright smile. Then Austin went on to attend college at Florida State University and was a sophomore there studying pre-exercise science. He also joined a fraternity at FSU named Alpha Delta Phi Fraternity. Because Austin was involved in football and he also did wrestling in high school, it just made so much sense to him and everybody that knew him that he would go to college for exercise science. Austin, like a lot of teenagers and college students, began to film himself. And in these videos, he would say things like how he was against the use of steroids and how he wanted to do things naturally and why it was so important to take care of your body.
How's it going, guys? Today, I'm going to be talking about fitness as a whole and the challenges it brings, okay? So, what I want to start off by saying is, fitness as a whole. It's pretty tough, man. It's not easy, but nothing in life worth having is easy. Remember that, guys. You remember that? You remember that?
However, Austin's behavior began to change. You could see some of these strange changes in his YouTube channel. He had a YouTube channel that was called A Frost, and it was filled with wide-ranging collections of his videos that would include clips of him belting out Elvis Presley's song, Hound Dog, and also rambling about his personal trainers and why he decided not to take these steroids.
What's up, guys? Pulling a little Jason Genova, driving while talking, but that's alright. Anyway, I'm gonna talk to you about why I don't do steroids. And the reason is, I don't want to, you know? I don't feel like it'd be beneficial for me to do steroids, you know? It just wouldn't, because it damages my health. I feel like I have to depend on it every day. That's a life not worth living for me, you know?
But this bizarre behavior that he started exhibiting started to distance his friends from him. According to Austin's family, around June and July of 2016 is when they really started seeing this strange behavior. It was said that he was seen pacing the floors and that he would go days without sleeping. He would also go through these extreme mood highs and lows. Like he would be laughing and happy one minute and then he would be sad and quiet and withdrawn the next. Literally within minutes, his mood was switching. He started thinking that he could be a rapper and thought he was going to have a rapper's career and was filming himself doing these rap songs. It was just so all over the place, you guys. From him being in exercise science to now he's a rapper.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Music Television, and we are presenting Austin Frosty. The band is called the Frost Fleet, and for the vocals, we've got Austin Frosty in this corner. For the guitar, we've got Austin Frosty in the left. For the bass, we've got Austin Frosty on the right. And behind on the drums is Austin Frosty. They will be performing High Standards. Thank you. I am high.
But it really got strange when Austin started to say that he had superhuman powers and that people were going to worship him one day just like they worshiped Jesus. Austin also allegedly said that he felt so invincible that he could just walk in the street right in front of cars and nothing could hurt him. Later, Austin's computer would show signs of him searching things like mania and am I crazy, and asking questions about hallucinations. And in the late weeks of July, the early weeks of August, Austin began to believe that evil forces were around him and were following him. It was even said that his sister would find him like standing over him and by him while she was sleeping. And when she would be like, Austin, what are you doing? He would say, I'm protecting you. I have to keep the evil forces away from you. And see, at this point, I don't understand why he wasn't possibly Baker acted. Listen, hindsight is always 20/20. And of course, I'm going to give you guys my full opinion and what I think about things at the end. But like, these don't sound like little red flags. These seem very concerning. On August 14th of 2016, Austin started to act even more strange. His little sister would say that he thought that he was half man and half dog. And she saw him outside crouching through the bushes, crawling through the bushes, saying that he needed to be one with the animals. She said that he also only wanted to sit in the back seat of the vehicle like the part where dogs sit because he was half man and half dog. His dad would later say with tears in his eyes that he watched his son go from being a very happy, loving kid, young man, to being somebody that he didn't even know. He was acting so strange. And again, even his friends began to distance themselves from him.
How was his childhood? Was he a good kid, normal kid?
Yeah, he's happy and
Never suspended from school for fighting?
Never.
Okay.
He's a very docile, shy kid, and I was a nerdy kid myself, and I dropped him off at Sunco's weight room, and he became a good football player, and a weightlifter, and everything, and fit in, you know.
Sure.
Beforehand, he was just too shy, you know.
Yeah.
His parents were very concerned. I even heard his dad say that he thought that maybe he could snap him out of whatever craziness that he had going on. But obviously he couldn't, because the next day on August 15th of 2016, everybody's lives would change forever. Austin's father, Wade, said that he saw his son at around 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Wade was with his daughter and her friends and some other people when they ran into Austin and they said, hey, we're getting ready to go for a hike. Do you want to go with us? Austin's father said that Austin said, yeah, sure, I'll go. He said that they walked for about 3 or 4 hours and that he noticed that his son's mood was very up and down. He was laughing and then he was quiet and withdrawn. And he was excited and then he was quiet and withdrawn.
We were walking through the woods for about 2 or 3 hours, and Austin would be happy, and then he'd be quiet, and all of a sudden I saw, look, there's a tortoise shell that's empty, and there's another one. And he goes, stop, everybody! And he gets his knife, and it's about this long, and he says, stay behind me. I feel something is going to happen here. I said, put that damn thing back up. What the hell's wrong with you? And he did.
His dad was like, why are you acting crazy? Like, stop acting like this. And they went on with their walk. After they finished this 3 to 4 hour long hike, Austin's father suggested to everybody, why don't we go get some food? They all decided yes, they were going to go to this restaurant that they loved in town called Duffy's. They all sat down in the restaurant, they ordered their drinks and began looking at the menu to order their food. Austin received his drink, which was a sweet tea. He chugged the tea. And then he told everybody at the table he had to go to the bathroom. Now, there's surveillance footage in this restaurant of Austin getting up and walking to the bathroom. When he walked to the bathroom, he disappeared. His father, nobody else at the table, his sister, none of them knew where he went. Everybody's looking for Austin. They have no idea where he went. Austin had left the restaurant walking and had walked to his mother's house, which was about 2 miles from the restaurant. His mother was at home cooking when she got a knock on the door, and she went and opened the door, and she's like, "Hey, Austin, what are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, you come inside." She had the house smelling good. She asked him, "Are you hungry?" He said, "Yes." She said, "Awesome." She asked where his dad and them were. He mumbled something. She said she went back to the stove to finish her cooking, and she turned around and she saw that Austin had her bottle of oil that she had been cooking with. It was like Wesson oil. And he was standing at the window holding the oil, staring out the window like he was getting ready to drink it. And she took it from him and said, "That is not a drink. Give me that."
I said, "Are you hungry?" And he's like, "Yes." And I think I was in the refrigerator, and I look over and he's got a container of Wesson oil, and he's staring out the window. He's like he's about to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just turned, I said, "That's not a drink," and I grabbed it from him,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it on the counter. I said, "That's Wesson oil."
Mm-hmm.
And he turned around, and I don't know if the phone rang and Haley's calling me, but I mean, I do notice him getting a bowl, and he gets mozzarella cheese, and he puts a little bit of the oil in it and takes a couple of bites.
Okay.
Right around this time is when his sister called his mom to say, "Hey, have you seen Austin?" She answers the phone. She said, "Yes, he's here. He's acting strange." And they're like, "What the heck? We're at the restaurant. The food has come. Can you bring him back?" So she said, "Sure." She asked him, "Do you want to go back to the restaurant where your dad and them are?" And he said, "Yeah, I guess." So Austin gets in the car with his mom. She drives him 2 miles back up to the road to the restaurant, and he goes inside. When he goes inside, Austin's dad is pretty ticked. I mean, in his mind, he's been acting weird all day. What are you doing? Why would you just leave the restaurant? Everybody's looking for you. And they get into an altercation.
He comes and sits down. And I said, "This is going to be on tape today." So I said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he didn't say nothing. So I grabbed him by the collar and I said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes, and my girlfriend says, "Austin, don't." And he looks at my girlfriend, embarrassed, leaves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Jesus, did he seem agitated, or it just seemed weird when you grabbed his shirt?
He seemed weird.
Okay. Did he get agitated after you grabbed his shirt?
Yeah,
did he
hit me.
Yeah. Okay. But
For
then
the first time.
Okay. So he's never hit you before. He's never raised his hands to you
Never
or
done
anything.
that.
Okay.
After the altercation, Austin walks out of the restaurant and leaves again. And this time, nobody knew where he was going. Now, things around this time frame get a little fuzzy. Austin began walking/running down the road towards his father's house. Now, his father lived about 4 miles from the restaurant. Remember how I told you the mother lived about 2 miles? I mean, they lived right near each other within a couple miles. And he headed towards where his father's house was. Austin would later tell a forensic psychiatrist that while he was walking, he saw someone with a white face and dark clothes. This person ended up being a family friend, however. Even though he knew this person, Austin got terrified and was convinced that this was an evil force that was in this man that was their family friend. Because he got scared, he began to run, full force run. Now, somewhere in between that restaurant and his next stop, Austin lost his shorts or took them off. He had on a pair of white shorts. So, and now at this point, he's running down the road in his boxer underwear and a t-shirt, thinking that evil forces are chasing him, allegedly, according to him. While he was running, he saw a home that had the garage open and he saw a light in there. So he figured he was going to run to this house to get help from these people. When he ran into this garage, he ran face to face with 53-year-old Michelle Mishkin. Now, Michelle and John Stevens, who is 59 years old, lived in this home. They lived near Jupiter, and they lived in their home surrounded by golf courses near the banks of a river. The couple, who met in 1997 at a financial firm in Miami where they both worked, reportedly spent many of their evenings relaxing and entertaining entertaining guests in their garage. They'd set up a television out there, they'd set up chairs, they'd have drinks, sometimes they'd eat their dinner out there, and they had just recently celebrated their 19th anniversary together. Michelle, who was the daughter of a former North Miami Beach mayor, worked in finance in Boca Raton. John was a retired owner of a landscaping business, GreenSmart Lawn and Garden. They were described by their family as just a happy older couple. They had been together for many years. The children had moved out of the home. And again, like a lot of people that I know, and maybe even some of y'all know, in the evenings, after their busy hustle and bustle of the day, they would open their garage, sit in their chairs, pop open a wine bottle or drink some beer, wave at the neighbors, watch TV out there, look at the palm trees, feel the breeze from the river, and enjoy their evening until it was time to go in at night. I even saw some of the neighbors that did interviews that said that they didn't even lock their doors in this neighborhood. Everybody knew everybody. It was just a pleasant place for them to be. So you can only imagine Michelle's thought pattern when she sees this young 19-year-old, 6 foot, 200-pound guy come running in her garage straight at her in his underwear. She screamed. She hollered. When she screamed, Austin would later say that he thought she was screaming because she was a witch. And because of that, he began to attack her. Now, when he attacked her, it was brutal, you guys. Her screams alerted her husband, Stephen, who was in the house for a second, and then he came back out. And when he came out, he tried to save her, and this is when Austin began to attack him as well. Jeff, the neighbor who lived right across the street, heard the screams and ran over to try to help. And he said that when he ran over to help, there was blood everywhere, and that Austin was growling while attacking Stephen. And he said that he tried to run up on him, and this is when Austin said, "You don't want none of this," or something to that effect. And then Austin began to attack Jeff, the neighbor. He stabbed him a couple times, and Jeff was able to get away and call 911. This is the 911 call.
Police and medical. Young man beating up a woman across the street.
Either of them injured. Can you tell from where you are?
Yes, there's a girl laying on the ground. He beat her up. I ran over there. I'm bleeding profusely here at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Can you tell if she's conscious?
No, it does not appear so, no.
911 was dispatched to the home as an attack on this couple, and that it was a very brutal attack. You guys heard the 911 call. A strange thing is right around the same time, Austin's mother called 911 to report him missing because none of the family knew where he had went, and he had already been acting strange. This is that 911 call.
I don't know how to do this. My son, he's taken off. It seems like he's a little delusional. He says, he feels immortal and like a superhero. So I don't know what's going on with him. And he was out to dinner with his dad today, and he took off.
He left on foot?
Yes. He had no ID on him, no phone. We'll say, I think the only thing he has on him is a pocket knife switchblade.
Now, when the cops arrived, you guys, it was a bloodbath. It was absolutely terrible. I am going to read the whole police report over on my Patreon. You can find the police report online by searching it up. You do not need to join my Patreon in order to read it. However, I will be reading it on my Patreon as well if you guys want to hear me read it and react to it and talk about it. Again, my Patreon's linked down below. But what I can tell you here is that when the sheriff's department and the deputies arrived on the scene, they found Austin in his underwear gnawing on John's face and grunting like an animal. It reportedly took a taser and 3 to 4 police officers and a canine to pull Austin from John's body. The police report said that even though Austin was literally being tased and the canine had a hold of his arm, he was still going at it, gnawing on John's face. One of the cops said in an interview that he had like a bear hug around this man's body, 59-year-old John, and was biting pieces of his face off and growling at the cops and spitting. And he had blood all over him. His teeth were broken. I mean, it was you can't even describe what kind of scene that probably was for everybody involved. They ended up being able to restrain him, and they ended up taking him to the hospital. When they took Austin to the hospital, this is when they realized how messed up even Austin was. Now, at this point, Michelle and John were pronounced dead on the scene. I mean, he killed them with his bare hands in their own garage. When they got Austin to the hospital, his whole entire esophagus and organs, a lot of his organs were burned drastically. One of the articles that I found said that Austin's liver was malfunctioning and his lungs were filling with fluid. He had bleeding of the esophagus and he was in critical and a non-responsive state. Now, around this time is when all those videos of the flocka was going around, okay? And you guys remember the whole situation with the person like biting someone's face off down in Miami. I mean, it sounded exactly like it. Now, something strange about the flocka, one of my friends said that they used to sell that in the stores, kind of like how they did the spice, which is crazy to me. But nevertheless, people were having these reactions. And so the officers that gave a press conference said that they knew for sure that he was going to have drugs in his system. Like they just, I mean, it's what made the most sense. Okay. However, when they tested him for substances, the only thing that was in his system was traces, small traces of THC. So there's no drugs. Now, he ended up being in the hospital for a long time. He almost died. And obviously, the family members of the couple that were murdered by him were absolutely, I mean, devastated. They wanted justice to be served. So this whole entire time since 2016, again, it went crazy in the media back in 2016. We got these little tastes from Dr. Phil, and then that episode disappeared. And then here recently, it's all come out again. And then Dr. Phil did end up posting bits and pieces of this episode on his YouTube channel. Austin was diagnosed with having like a psychotic break, and these all being psychotic episodes. Michelle and John's family do not believe that this was a psychotic episode. They believe that it was drug induced and that he should be held responsible, and they have fought long and hard about that. The problem with that is that no substances were found in his system. And I'm going to tell you guys my opinion on that. So just roll with me here. The state's attorney and the defense had multiple different psychiatrists, do evaluations on him, and all of them, even the state's attorney's professional psychiatrist, said that he had a psychotic break. Okay, so even the state's attorneys, like professionals, said, yeah, they all said this. So he ended up going to court. He was getting ready to go to trial, and the judge accepted a non-guilty insanity plea. And when they did, so many people were mad, especially the family. The family was able to come and give their speeches or, say their last words at the hearing, and they were pretty upset.
You are a disgusting human with a rancid soul, a sick animal that should have been put down a long time ago. You deserve nothing more than to feel despair and debilitating guilt for what you did every second of the day for the rest of your sad, meaningless, and pathetic life. I hope death comes for you sooner than later, and when it does, I will rejoice, because only then will justice be truly served for John and Michelle. Thank you. I hope you burn in hell, along with your parents. Wade, you're disgusting.
And one of the reasons why they probably feel that way is because one of the family members was able to read text messages and emails that Austin had sent months leading up to this incident, where he talked about his drug use.
Myself, if I didn't let the world know exactly who you really are, in your own words. Because not only did I spend hundreds of hours listening to your jailhouse calls, but I also spent countless nights going through your text messages and notes on your cell phone. So this is who you are, Austin Harrouff, in mostly your own words. August 22nd, 2015. I drove high for the first time, smoked a friend's brother's bong. August 29th, you got kicked out of a frat party. A friend said, you got way too up and they thought you were going to puke, so they kicked you out. To which you responded, I don't remember. I got too drunk. August 30th, we're going to smoke now. September 11th, and these are all just different texts. Getting f***ed up now, getting f***ed up tonight. I'm so f***ed up, I'm so f***ed up, I'm completely f***ed up. I'm f***ed up. September 12th, I'm so f***ed up. I'm f***ed up. September 13th, there's a lovely image of you with a joint in your mouth. September 14th, you talked about easy access to drugs due to joining a fraternity. September 19th, I'm ficked up. Getting drunk is so fun. Drank, went to a bar. I was so plastered. I was trashed. I'm going to drink my troubles away.
So see, Austin said that he wasn't using drugs and he hadn't used any drugs, and so did his family. They stuck to that story, but there were all these text messages saying that he was using drugs. There's two things that could have happened. Now we're going to get into my opinion. There's two things that could have happened with the text messages. He could have been telling the truth. He was using drugs, and that would definitely explain the not sleeping, the pacing, the hallucinating. I mean, if you're staying up for days, you're going to hallucinate, okay? If you're on that mess, that flocka or that other stuff, okay? Or he could have been lying in those text messages because he was having a psychotic break. No matter what really happened leading up to it, there's no doubt in my mind that he was not in his right mind when he attacked the couple, because otherwise the tasing would have affected him. He had a canine dog on him, ripping pieces out of his arm basically, and he did not budge. He was biting the man's face off. He injured himself, and he somehow, some way ingested chemicals that burned him from the inside and almost killed him. I mean, his lungs was filling up with fluid, his liver was in failure, his esophagus was completely burned. And I don't know if you guys know a lot about esophaguses, but you only get one, okay? There's no replacement to it, and if you mess it up, that's it. You can't have an esophagus transplant. That's why esophageal cancer is so scary and so bad. It's actually what Kim Kardashian's father passed away from. And so for him to set his own esophagus on fire while he's biting somebody's face, he obviously was out of it. But another issue with that is if he was out of it due to substances, then he shouldn't have got off on the insanity plea. What do I think? I think it is possible that he was on something, and I think that it's possible with all of that, chemicals or whatever that he ingested, it could have maybe made the test funky. I have no idea. I just think it's super strange that he had this flocka-like response at the same time all these other people were having them. And a lot of those symptoms that they're saying was a psychotic break could have been linked to the same thing as substance abuse. However, to flip it back around, if he was having a psychotic break, this is the age that people start typically showing these signs, at around 19 and in this young adult age. So we don't really know. All I know is that nobody's lives will be the same, not even his. Now, the family, again, is very infuriated because now he's going to a mental hospital to be rehabilitated, and he will go home one day, possibly. You've got people like Andrea Yates, who, if you guys don't know the story, please go and watch the video, who was sent to a mental hospital, and even though they have told her she could leave, she don't want to leave. She knows she needs to be in a place with structure, with medication, and she is staying in there. I don't know, man. This is so sad and so devastating. And I feel like what makes it even worse is there's no real closure because we don't really know what happened. Did he really have a psychotic, schizophrenic break? I mean, you don't really have people doing that type of thing with the schizophrenic break. But then again, let me tell you guys a story. A lot of y'all know that I am very close affiliated with a homeless shelter, okay? And this is a real deal homeless shelter, not saying that they're not all real deal, but like a lot of homeless shelters, you have to come in, apply to be there. You have to tick certain boxes in order to stay there. They only accept certain types of people. There's not many homeless shelters that you can literally walk in off the street, barefooted, wet, and hungry, and have a place to stay, okay? That's what this type of place is. And because of that, there is a lot, mostly all, of mental patients there that would be dead on the street if not. There are so many stories of people that come in there that end up having different mental issues in their elder lives. Let me give you an example. Let's say there's a 70-year-old man and made millions and millions of dollars his whole entire life. He raised his children. He was a good husband. He was wonderful. And then when he was in his 70s, he started getting, let's say, dementia or Alzheimer's, and his brain started slipping. One morning, he woke up and did not recognize who his wife was, and he beat her to a pulp. Well, because of that, he ended up in a homeless shelter in his 70s. Okay, so this is a man that worked his whole entire life and took care of his kids, loved his wife, and his wife was devastated. But she's scared of him because she doesn't know what could happen next. And you have people like this in these homeless shelters or on the street or under the bridge or, there's certain people that can't be rehabilitated. Because you think that, homeless people, they just need a place to live or whatever. Some people have mental issues where they need care 24/7. They don't get to choose that. They don't wake up one day and say, yeah, I want to lose my mind and hurt somebody. It just happens. And it's so sad and it's so scary and it does happen. So who really knows? I personally think it's more likely that he may have took something. I lean 60% to he ingested something and maybe all of those chemicals made it not show up, and 40% that it could be some sort of mental psychotic break. What do you guys think? Have y'all heard about this story? How do you feel? What do you think? Isn't it scary? Isn't it sad? Isn't it crazy all the way around? There are no winners at all at the end of this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. And y'all have a wonderful weekend. And I will see y'all next week. Love you guys. Bye.